Hey guys, tonight we are heading high into the Andes to a time before written ledgers, before spreadsheets, before even the written word as we know it, to feel the weight of a different kind of memory. We are going to explore the quipu, the intricate knotted cords used by the Inca Empire to keep accounts for millions of people. Tonight's story is one of immense detail, of tiny fibers and specific twists that held an entire civilization together. It's so quiet, so tactile, and so complex. You probably won't survive the first 3 knots before you drift off dots, so. Before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And as always, I'd love to see where in the world you're listening from. Please feel free to post your city or country and what time it is, so we can all see just how far this little community of sleep historians has spread out now. Dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. It rests in your hands, heavier than you expected. You are sitting on a woven mat, the rough fibers of the reeds scratching faintly at your legs. The air in the small stone room is thin and cold, carrying the sharp, dry scent of the high Andes. A soft, persistent wind whistles through the tightly bound thatch of the roof. A constant reminder that you are nearly 2 miles above the distant. Unseen ocean dot, the object in your lap, is the reason you are here. It is the official memory of your entire Elu, your community. The old Quipicumayoc, the keeper of the cords, has passed on. His breath, like so many in the high altitudes, finally grew too thin and surrendered to the cold. And now you are his replacement. This is your first night alone with the quipu. You run your hand along its backbone. This is the primary cotton cord, and it feels strong, durable, and reassuringly thick. It's perhaps the length of your arm from your elbow to your fingertips, a pale, natural cotton color. It is the trunk of the tree from which all other memories branch, and from this main cord, the branches hang. Dozens, perhaps hundreds of thinner cords, dependent cords, fall from it like a heavy, colorful fringe. You lift a cluster of them. They're not all the same. Some are cotton, like the main cord, but dyed in different shades. You see a deep, earthy red, a pale yellow, and a stark, clean white. Others are made of a different fiber entirely. You rub a thread between your thumb and forefinger. It's finer than the cotton, almost slick with its natural lanolin. It's alpaca wool, spun incredibly thin and strong. These wool cords carry the most vibrant colors, a brilliant crimson, a deep indigo blue, and a green that reminds you of the lowland jungles you have only heard stories about. This isn't just a tool, it's a library. You are the new town accountant, the census taker, the treasurer, and the historian all rolled into one. And this is your entire office. No software, no cloud backups, no filing cabinets. Just this collection of knotted strings. If a particularly curious llama wanders in and mistakes this for a snack, your entire village's tax records are, quite literally, digested. You let the pendant cords fall, and they make a soft, whispering thud against your tunic. The responsibility of it settles on you, as heavy as the quipu itself. You are in a tambo, one of the small stone way stations that line the great Inca road system. This one is built into the side of a mountain. Its single trapezoidal doorway, looking out over a valley that is already deep in shadow. The sun has slipped behind the jagged peaks, and the temperature is dropping rapidly. The only light comes from a small smoky fire of llama dung and ureta moss, smoldering in a shallow pit in the corner, casting flickering, warm shadows on the cold, gray stone walls. The old keeper's breathing in his last days was the only sound besides the wind. Now the silence of the room feels as vast as the mountains outside. You trace the primary cotton cord again. Your fingers are rough from working the terraces, your nails filled with the dark, rich soil that grows the potatoes. Now, these hands must learn a new language, a language of touch. This is the very essence of the quipu. It is tactile. You don't just read it. You feel it. You separate a single pendant cord a white cotton one. You let it run through your fingers. Near the top, close to the main cord, you feel it. A small, tight, simple overhand knot. Then a space. Then another knot. Then a much larger space. And further down, a different kind of knot. One with several twists wrapped around itself. You know from your brief, hurried training as the old man faded that this is an accounting. The white cord, he had whispered, was for the silver tribute, or perhaps for peace, or for a specific type of grain. The precise meaning was held in the memory of the Quipucamayak, his memory, which is now supposed to be your memory. The knots, you were told, represent numbers. Their position on the cord denotes their value like ones, tens, and hundreds. The type of knot tells you the specific digit, but what about the colors? The old keeper had chuckled, a dry, rasping sound, and said the colors are the adjectives. The knots are the nouns and numbers, but the colors are the story. A crimson cord might mean a record of warriors or a tribute of cochineal dye. A yellow cord could be gold or it could be maize. How did he know which? He tapped his temple. It is here, he'd said. The cords anchor the memory. They do not hold it all. This is what historians centuries from now will debate endlessly. Are these quipus simply spreadsheets? A fantastic three-dimensional database for tracking harvests and labor taxes? Or are they something more? The old keeper insisted some of the oldest quipus in his keeping ones you have not yet been shown told. The stories of the gods, the histories of the Sepa Inca, the founding of Cusco itself, how, you wonder, can a knot tell a story? How can a crimson thread sing a song of a battle? You feel a sudden sharp chill and pull your thick alpaca wool tunic tighter. The wind outside seems to be gaining strength, a low, mournful howl that snakes through the cracks in the stone. You are very high, very alone, and in your lap is the collected data of your world. It holds the census. How many men are fit for labor? How many women are of weaving age? How many children were born this past season? It holds the harvest. How many bushels of quinoa? How many costals of potatoes? How many charqui dried llama? Meat in the storehouses and it holds the tribute, the mita, the labor tax owed to the Sapa Inca, the emperor, hundreds of miles away in the golden capital of Cusco. This primary cotton cord is the spine of your community's relationship with the entire vast empire, you sigh, the breath pluming white in the dim, cold air. Your training begins at dawn. The Elu elders will come, and you will begin the process of learning the chords, of transferring the oral memory that accompanies them into your own mind. For tonight, you are simply its guardian. You lay the quipu down, coiling it gently on the mat. The colors seem to glow softly in the firelight. You feel the immense quiet power of it, a silent, colorful, complex language, resting in the cold, thin air, waiting for a mind to give it a voice. The sun is high, but it brings no real warmth to this altitude. The stone room is brighter now, the gray walls illuminated by the sharp, clear light of the Andes, but it is just as cold. The smoky fire from last night is gone, leaving only a faint, ashy scent. The distant wind is still your constant companion, a high, thin whistle that never seems to rest. You are not alone. Two elders from your Elu sit across from you, their faces maps of deep wrinkles, their eyes sharp and patient. They are here to guide the transfer of memory, to ensure the quipu speaks the same truth to you as it did to your predecessor. But first, you must learn the grammar. One of the elders, a woman named Pala, whose hands are as gnarled as a quinua tree, gestures to a practice cord. It's a simple, undyed cotton string. Not all knots are born equal, she says, her voice a low murmur. A knot is a number. Where it sits is its power. She shows you the system. It is, you realize with a jolt of clarity. Beautifully simple and terrifyingly complex at the same time. It is a system of place value, just like counting with stones in the dust. Here, she says, pinching the pendant cord near the top, just below where it would join the primary cotton cord. This is where we count the W-E-A-N-G-A ... the thousands. She moves her fingers down a small space. Here, the pachaka, the hundreds, then the chunka, the tens. And finally, at the bottom, the single units dot. It's a base 10 system, clean and logical. A decimal system woven in fiber, thousands of miles from the old world academics who believe they are the center of all. Mathematics. The Quipuka Mayak from the neighboring Elu has joined you for this part of the training. He is a stern man, all business. He doesn't just keep accounts. He's an accountant. He's the ancient equivalent of an auditor, and he is not here to be your friend. He's here to ensure the Inca Empire's data integrity. He hands you a fresh white cotton cord. Show me a 1. Your fingers feel clumsy, thick, and stupid. You try to mimic the simple overhand knot you've seen. You tie it in the lowest position, the unit's place, the auditor size. It's not a sound of frustration, but of immense bottomless. Patience, which is somehow worse. Again, it must be tight. It must be uniform. What if this is 1 llama? What if it is 1 waranga of potatoes? A loose knot is a shadow. It is a doubt. The Sepa Inca does not permit doubt. You try again. And again. Your knuckles ache from the cold and the repetitive motion. This is not grand philosophy. It is rote memorization. It is data entry dot after an hour. You can tie a 1 that earns a curt nod. Now, the auditor says, show me a 5. This is different. You can't just tie 5 knots in the unit's position. That would be messy, confusing, and dot, dot. Well, just plain ugly. No, Pala says, gently taking the cord. For the numbers 2 through 9, we use the long knot. She loops the cord, then passes the end through the loop, not once, but 5 times, pulling it taut. The result is a beautiful, sturdy, and unmistakable knot with 5 distinct turns. A 2 would have 2 turns. A 9 would have 9. It's ingenious. It's a single composite knot that holds a specific value. You try to make a 5. Your first attempt looks like a small, tangled bird's nest. Your second unravels. The auditor watches you, his expression unreadable. This is the tension of the Quipucamayak. The Kaski, the messenger, runs the risk of a broken leg or a puma. You run the risk of an accounting error. A single misplaced knot, a long knot with 4 turns instead of 5, could be the difference between your village sending its required tribute of 200 bushels of maize or an impossible 0. It's the difference between surplus and starvation. 1 slip of the fiber, 1 typo in the string. And you could accidentally document a rebellion, promise 1,000 warriors you don't have, or erase the existence of an entire herd of llamas. Historians, millennia from now, will marvel at the accuracy of these knotted records. They will wonder how an empire without writing could manage such vast, complex logistics. They won't fully appreciate this room. They won't feel the cold stone, or the pressure from the auditor's silent gaze, or the ache in your fingers as you tie your 17th 5, hoping this one is finally correct. You are learning to write with thread. And just like any written language, it requires precision. Good, the auditor finally says, inspecting your knot. Now, what about the chunka position? Show me 73. You pause. 73. You take a new cord. You move your hands up to the tens position. You carefully wind the cord, passing the end through the loop 7 times. A long knot. For 7, you pull it tight. It sits there, proud and correct. Then you move your fingers down to the unit's position, just below it. You wind the cord 3 times. A long knot for a 3, you hold it up. A 7 in the tens, a 3 in the ones. 73. The auditor almost smiles. You see, the cord speaks. But Pala leans in. It speaks, she whispers. But what is it counting? You look at the white cord in your hand. 70 gash, 3 dot. What? Llamas? Bundles of wool? Silver? Warriors? Potatoes? The auditor nods, picking up on her lesson. A number without a name is just a knot. Tomorrow we will speak of the colors. We will speak of the fibers. We will speak of the direction of the spin. He holds up two cords. They look identical, but you see now that the fibers in one are spun to the left and in the other to the right. One of these means tribute paid, he says. The other means tribute owed. Do you see why you must not fail, Kukumayak? You swallow, the dry, cold air scratching your throat. You are no longer just a farmer. You are a living cog in the great imperial machine of the Inca Empire. And you are the hard drive. You are the central processing unit. And the only software you have is the memory of the elders and the dexterity of your own freezing, aching fingers. You pick up another practice chord. This time, you will tie at 99. Two beautiful, complex, long knots, each with 9 perfect turns, one sitting above the other. It must be perfect. You take a breath, feeling the focus settle over you like a heavy, warm blanket, blocking out the wind, the cold, and the hard stone walls. There's only you and the knot. The day's relentless training is finally over. The stern auditor and the patient elder, Pala, have left for the evening, their footsteps fading on the stone path outside. You are alone again in the small, cold room, but tonight, the fire pit is glowing with a steady, satisfying warmth. The areta moss and llama dung, now properly dried, are burning with a soft, steady crackle. The sound is a comfort against the ever-present moan of the Andean wind. You are rubbing your fingers, trying to work the stiffness out of them. You've tied so many long knots, callback, today that your hands feel like they've been woven, not just doing the weaving. You've mastered 73 and 99. You've even successfully recorded 420. Your practice chords are a lumpy, tangled mess of your successes and failures. You're just about to roll yourself into your thick alpaca blanket. When the shadow fills the trapezoidal doorway dot, it's the auditor. He has returned, and he holds a single, dark-colored pendant cord in his hand. One last test. Quipikumayak, he says. His voice is flat, carrying no hint of whether this is a punishment or a final lesson. He steps into the room, the firelight, catching the polished bone, toggle on his tunic. He holds the cord out to you. It's not a practice cord. This one is old. You can feel the faint, dry dust of its fibers, the slight fraying that speaks of age and importance. Read it. You take a steadying breath, the cold air mixing with the warm smoke from the fire. You hold the cord taut between your hands, your thumbs ready to feel the language. You are, for a moment, an ancient database, preparing to be queried. Your thumb finds the Pachaka position, the hundreds place. You feel a knot, it's a long knot, and you carefully, deliberately feel the turns. 1.2, 3, 300. You murmur, your voice low. Your thumb slides down the cord, past the small required space, to the chunka position. The tens place. Your thumb keeps sliding. There's nothing here. There's no knot. There's no bump. There's only the smooth, tightly spun alpaca wool. A flicker of panic. Did a knot fall off? Has it been worn away by time? Is this a trick? You quickly slide your thumb back up and down, feeling the space again. It's clean. It's empty. You hesitate. You glance up at the auditor, but his face is a mask of shadows in the flickering light. You continue down to the worry, the unit's place, and there it is, another long knot. Your thumb traces its ridges. 1.2....3.4. 5 turns, a 3 in the hundreds. Nothing in the tens. A 5 in the ones. You look at the auditor, your mind connecting the pieces of the base 10 system. 305, you say, the statement rising slightly as a question. The auditor nods, a single, sharp dip of his chin. You pause at the chunka. It was empty, you say, stating the obvious. It was Shusak. He corrects you. It is not empty. It is 0. The empty space is the number. It is the placeholder. It is the most important knot you will ever not tie. And suddenly you understand. You feel a thrill, a cold, Intellectual clarity that has nothing to do with the fire, without that empty space, that shusak. How would you read the chord? It would be a 3 and a 5, but where? 35? 353, 105? The absence is what gives the presence its correct power. That deliberate. Measured nothing in the tens position is the only thing that locks the 3 into the hundreds and the 5 into the units. It's a concept that scholars in other parts of the world will wrestle with for centuries, inventing complex symbols and philosophies to represent nothingness. And here in the high Andes, you are holding it in your hand. It's not a symbol, it's a feeling. It's the tactile sensation of absence. This is what historians will puzzle over. They will hold these surviving quipus in their sterile labs and count the knots, but they will struggle with the spaces. They will debate if the Inca truly invented zero, or if it was just a practical spacer, a way to keep the numbers from bumping into each other. But as you sit here, the fire crackling, you know the truth. It is the number. It's not a mistake, or a gap, or a broken thread. It is a value. Tying a knot there would be wrong. Not tying a knot is correct. It's the difference between an inbox zero and just ... an empty inbox. One is an achievement, a deliberate state. The other is just a lack of mail. The other takes the chord back, coiling it carefully. You must learn to read the silence. Kupu Kamea. A kipu is not just a collection of knots. It is a pattern of knots and ... not knots. A Chasqui runner can bring you a chord with a single 1 knot and a single 5 knot. Only you will know if he has brought news of 15 llamas or 105 or 150. He turns and leaves without another word. This time, he's gone for a good dot. You are left alone with the fire. The crackle of the burning. Moss seems to punctuate the silence. A presence. A presence ... a presence. Then a pause. You pick up one of your own blank practice chords. You move to the hundreds place and tie a long knot with one turn. 100. You slide down to the tens place. You feel the smooth, empty wool, the empty space. Shusak. You slide to the units place. You tie 101. You run your fingers over it, the bump of the knot, the smoothness of the zero, the bump of the knot dot. It's a rhythm. It's a cadence. It is a language, and you have just learned its most subtle, most powerful word. Tonight, you are not in the cold, silent stone room with the old quipu. You are outside, in a small courtyard sheltered from the worst of the highland wind. The moon is a thin sliver, offering almost no light, but a large fire burns under a massive ceramic vat. The air is alive with a new sensation, something that pushes back against the cold, dry scent of the mountains. It's a sharp, acidic, almost fruity smell. A tongue that prickles the inside of your nose dot. It's the smell of the dye pot. A group of women, the community's expert spinners and dyers, are working around the fire. Their hands illuminated by the flames are stained in shades of yellow and deep red. The mood here is entirely different from your lessons with the auditor. It's warm, communal. Soft chatter and the hiss and plop of the bubbling vat replace the sound of the lonely wind. Paula. The elder who first showed you the long knot, callback, is here. She smiles as you approach, her own fingers a deep crimson. The knots are the numbers. Quipukumayak, she says, her voice kind. But the colors are the names. You cannot count what you cannot name. She gestures to a hank of freshly spun alpaca wool. You pick it up. It's unbelievably soft, still slick with its natural lanolin, and it smells faintly of the animal. You've seen the spinners work sitting in the sun, a drop spindle dancing by their side, twisting these fibers into a thread so strong it could moor a boat, yet so fine it could pass for silk. Tala gestures to the large, bubbling vat. The liquid inside is a roiling, deep, almost impossibly vibrant red. Now you will help us make the chord for the Sepa Inca's tribute. She shows you how to submerge the pale wool into the hot liquid. The sharp smell intensifies. It's the smell of a mordant fixer, perhaps the fermented chicha, corn beer, that stings your eyes. You hold the wool under with a wooden stick, and the bubbling liquid makes a thick, hypnotic sound. Blub, blub. This, Paula says, is our color. The color of power. She has you pull the hank of wool from the vat. You lift it, steaming, into the cool night air. The transformation is shocking. The pale, unassuming fiber has been reborn. It is a stunning, brilliant crimson-dyed cord, a red so deep and saturated it seems to drink the firelight. It is beautiful, you murmur. It is cochineal, Paula says, a note of pride in her voice. It is not a flower or a root. It is a gift from a tiny creature. She explains, this magnificent royal color, the color reserved for the emperor's tunic and the most important state records, commies from a tiny, scale-like insect that lives on the prickly pear cactus. The women meticulously harvest these small, white, fuzzy-looking bugs, dry them in the sun, and crush them by the thousands. It's these dried insect bodies that produce the dye. You realize, staining your official imperial spreadsheet with bug guts, and it is the most valuable pigment in the entire empire. Centuries from now, this exact dye will cross the ocean, and European painters like Rembrandt and Titian will hoard it, paying astonishing sums to capture this perfect, stable, powerful red for their canvases. They will call it carmine, and they will likely have no idea it was perfected in the Andes to count bushels of corn and track labor taxes. Paula takes the crimson-dyed cord and hangs it on a line to dry. The steam rises from it, carrying that sharp, acidic scent. A crimson cord, she instructs you, means warrior. It means the army, or it means the Sipa Inca himself. When you tie a knot for 100 on this cord, you're not counting potatoes. You're counting 100 soldiers ready for battle. She points to the other, smaller vats. One holds a pale yellow dye, simmering gently. That is coal. Flour. We use it for gold or for maize. The context tells us which. This is the great puzzle that historians will never fully solve. The quipu is not a simple one-to-one cipher. It is a cross-referenced, three-dimensional system. The meaning changes based on context. Paula explains. A white cotton cord, she says, means silver, but only if it is attached to the primary cotton cord, callback, right next to a yellow gold cord. But if you take that same white cord and tie it by itself, it means peace or a truce has been offered. Your head spins slightly. This is beyond the simple arithmetic of the auditor. He cared about the numbers, the empty space, callback, the cold, hard data. Paula and the DYERS ... they are the keepers of the meaning. A quipukumeak must be both. You must be an accountant, but you must also be a librarian, a storyteller, a weaver. You look at the crimson-dyed cord, dripping slowly, its color a declaration of power against the dark stone wall. You understand now. The auditor's 73 was just a number, but 73 tied into this crimson cord, that is a story with weight. That is 73 lives. You sit by the fire, listening to the soft plop of the vat and the quiet chatter of the women, breathing in the sharp, tangy smell of the dye. It's the smell of meaning. You're no longer the keeper. You are not the auditor nor the dyer. You are the vector. You are the data transfer protocol. You are a Chasky. And you are running. The air is so thin it feels like a lie. Every breath you pull into your lungs is a sharp, cold betrayal, offering almost none of the oxygen you crave. Your lungs are on fire, a deep, rhythmic burning that matches the thud, thud, thud of your sandals on the stone-paved road. Thud, thud. It's the only sound besides. The ragged gasp of your own breathing and the relentless, screaming whine of the wind as it pours over the mountain pass. This is the Kapakon, the great Inca road, and it is your entire world. It is a ribbon of impossible engineering, a staircase of stone laid directly into the face. To your left is a sheer drop of 1,000 feet, where condors circle on the updrafts below you. To your right is a wall of rocks, slick with ice reaching up to a sky that is a fierce, unforgiving blue. You are young, you are strong, and you have trained for this your entire life. You are the Empire's messenger, the living blood cell that carries information from one part of the body to another. From the coast to the jungle, from the high peaks to the golden heart of Cusco, tucked securely against your side, nestled in a small oiled leather pouch is the Kipru. You do not know what it says. You're not a Quipucameoc. You are illiterate in the language of knots. You are simply the vessel. The Kipu is coiled, its colors the crimson dyed cord. Call back, you've glimpsed the whites, the yellow, all hidden away. It's just a lump against your ribs. But you feel its weight, not in ounces, but in importance. This small, knotted thing in your leather pouch could be a declaration of war. It could be a census count, a request for more dried potatoes, or a message of love from a governor to his wife. It could be a single long knot, callback, on a white cord. It could be a complex masterpiece with 1,000 PND NTS dot. It doesn't matter. Your job is not to read it. Your job is to move. You are a data packet. And your only directive is send. The road ahead climbs, a seemingly endless set of stone stairs. Your thighs are screaming. You are chewing on a small, tight wad of coca leaves. The sacred plant of the Andes, it's not a thrill, it's not a party. It's fuel. It's a tool. The mild anesthetic in the leaves numbs the ache in your legs, dulls the growing cold, and, most importantly, tricks your lungs into thinking this thing, icy air, is somehow sufficient. Without coca, the Empire's messaging system would collapse. Without you, the Kipu is just a colorful, tangled rope. You are the envy of every boy in your Elu. You get to see the Empire. You wear the white-feathered headdress that marks your station. You are exempt from the mita, the labor tax, but you are the tax. Your tax is paid in muscle, in lung capacity, in the cartilage of your knees ground down. By the stone steps, modern marathon runners will one day pride themselves on completing 26.2 miles. You will do that before lunch, at an altitude that would make a modern athlete dizzy just standing still. And you'll do it again tomorrow. You smell the smoke before you see the tambo. It's a faint, blessed scent of burning ureta and roasting. Maize, carried on the ferocious wind. It means rest. But it doesn't mean your rest. The tambo, the small way station, appears around a bend. It's gray stone almost camouflaged against the mountain. It's your relay point. You steady your breathing, though it feels impossible. You reach to your side and feel the leather pouch. It's still there. It's secured as you approach. Your replacement is already waiting. He is standing outside the tambo, bouncing on the balls of his feet, his face fresh. He's probably just had a warm drink of chicha. You hate him just for a second. You don't stop. You don't even slow down. You run toward him, and as you close the gap, you unlatch the pouch. He's running beside you now, matching your stride. From Vilcashoaman. You gasp, the words ripped from your throat by the wind, for Cusco. You pass him the leather pouch. His hand closes on it, and in a single fluid motion, he straps it to his own side. Cusco. He shouts, his voice strong and clear, and just like that, he's gone. He accelerates, taking your pace and adding his own fresh strength to it. His sandals already beginning that relentless thud-thud on the path ahead, disappearing around the next turn. You stagger to a halt, leaning against the cold stone wall of the tambo. Your entire body is vibrating, your lungs feeling like two collapsed bags. The data has been transferred. The packet is on its way. Inside the tambo, there's fire, water, and boiled potatoes. You will rest for a few hours, and then you will wait. You will wait for another runner, this one coming from the other direction, from Cusco, his lungs burning, his legs aching, and on his hip, another leather pouch holding another silent, knotted secret, and you will be the fresh legs. You will be the one standing outside, bouncing on your feet, ready to run back the way you came. You are the Shaski. The whisper of the Empire, made of footsteps and stone,